Yes, the time has come. We are 3/4 of the way there. Only 25% of all Pokemon remain uncaptured in our collection, which is crazy to me. Truly, truly crazy to me. But to commemorate this, let's take a look at the collection as it stands. Let's talk about what obstacles we're still to face. Let's talk about what really honestly terrifies me about the rest of this challenge. And yeah, let's just kind of take a second to appreciate what we've been able to achieve so far. Only buying packs, only buying bulk, only getting donations from friends. This is our Pokédex. And we're still missing Venusaur and Blastoise and Wartortle. In fact, I don't think this page has changed at all since I did the last comprehensive Pokédex tour, which is like kind of confusing to me. Like I thought they would reprint the Gen 1 starters all over the place. I've honestly been tempted to pick up the Blastoise EX, Venusaur EX premium collection that they have at EB Games, just so I can get these two little guys, even though otherwise it's not that great a deal and it's not packs that I'm super excited for. But we're doing really well for Gen 1. Obviously, we've been counting down to completing Gen 1 when I was opening 151 and stuff like that. We are currently at 135 out of 151, which is 89%. And you'll see as we go through these pages, it's looking really good. Here we are just inexplicably missing Kakuna, which again, you would think it's not a hard Pokemon to get, but somehow it eludes us. Otherwise, this whole section is looking strong. I love this Raichu art. He looks so tough. This page also looking good, but we've had a hard time with the Nidoran, Nidorino family. We don't have the final evolution. Neither the king nor queen has appeared to us. I think those are Pokemon that just typically get printed in rare, so it's kind of hard for us to get. But a lot of other good guys here. Here we're missing Ninetales, which again I think is just a Pokemon they know is pretty beloved by fans and are probably going to put into the rare slot. I think it often has some like really cool mechanics and stuff too associated with it, being like Trickster, Kitsune, etc. So yeah, that's another one that I feel like it'll be very satisfying when we get it. There's our Crochet Wigglytuff. I love it. Rest of this page looking great. I love the arts we have for this whole line here. Look at Gloom. Look at Vileplume. So adorable. Here we got a complete page. Oh yeah, I want to start counting the complete pages. I completely lost count at some point. And that's why I haven't been going, oh, it's our blank completed page anymore. And I just say, oh, page complete. Here, I gotta find a spot to record this. Okay, so yeah, we have this completed page here. That's one. These are almosts, but not quite. This one, though, is complete. This is like some of the most classic, iconic art for me. The rare furry Diglett in CGI. Here we are just missing Golduck, which again, kind of surprising, but you know, we'll try our best. I really like this very contemplative Poliwag. The arts for that whole line are great. Here we're just missing Weepinbell, which I think we got another Victory Bell in the episode I just recorded before this. But Weepinbell continues to elude us. And likewise, Graveler. We've got Golem, but no Graveler. Rapidash as well. Just a lot of these Gen 1 Pokemon that I wouldn't think would be like crazy hard to get. Here we have another complete page, though. Looking great. And another one. This is our first complete double spread. Oh my goodness. That is just so satisfying. You know, I didn't really go into this with like a ton of confidence, honestly. Like, I thought this idea of just kind of buying cards when and if I felt like it, with whatever sources I felt like it, and seeing if that could add up to a whole Pokédex. I really had no idea what kind of progress I would make. I also had no idea kind of like what willpower I would have to do it and to keep making episodes and stuff. I thought I might just give up. And I don't think it was until I got my first full page that I was like, okay, this is like actually happening. Like eventually maybe a whole binder could look like this. And it wasn't until I got my first double page spread, which just happened recently, that I felt truly committed to finishing this challenge. And here we have another almost complete page, just missing Hitmonlee. And once completed, it will make another 2-page spread. That's our 4th completed page there. Love a lot of these arts. Love this Chansey art. Love our full art Kangaskhan. That was so hype to get. But yeah, Gen 1 coming along really well. And check this out. Another full 2-page spread. That's our 2nd already. And our 5th and 6th complete pages. Beautiful. So many classic Pokemon in here, man. You know, I'm not like a Gen 1er. I'm not like, Pokemon went downhill after Gen 1 or anything like that. But I think you can appreciate Pokemon from all generations and be like, man, in Gen 1, they were like really cooking. Like there's a lot of really great designs in Gen 1 that are iconic, not just because, you know, it's Gen 1 and we've had like 30 years at this point to come to love them, but I just think they're genuinely like really great designs. Here we are still pretty light, missing Ammonite, Kabutops, and Aerodactyl, 3 fossils. I knew from the jump that getting fossil Pokemon was going to be hard because of this insistence that they evolve from fossil trainer cards and they're not just basic Pokemon like you think they ought to be. Which I always thought was a little weird, and the fact that they've been insistent on never changing that, going all the way back from like 1995, is so weird to me, and it means that they just don't want to print the fossil Pokemon, because it kind of takes up unnecessary space and introduces these unnecessary mechanics. Here, though, we're doing good. We got all 3 legendary birds, the whole Dragonite line, and Mewtwo in the kick-ass V-Star treatment. We're just missing Mew. And then we're missing Chikorita Bayleaf as well. And it sucks because I love Chikorita. It's actually one of my favorite Pokemon. Gen 2, unsurprisingly, coming along a lot slower than Gen 1. We have 74 out of 100, which is 74%, unsurprisingly. But the starters, we're actually not doing too bad. We have the full Croconaw line. Totodile line, that is. We don't have Sentret, which I think is really funny. But we do have Furret. And here we've got a full page of Gen 2. That's our 7th complete page. This is a real Spinarak. It's not a Ditto. But I do have the Ditto Spinarak sticker somewhere too. Great selection here. This page, I think, has some other babies on it. Here, I should pull up the national decks so we can figure out what we're waiting for in some of these spots where I don't know off the top of my head. Scrolling. You can check out. I love the foil treatment on this Cleffa. It's so sweet. In Japanese, it's just called Pi. But yeah, we need Pichu. We need Igglybuff. Again, I knew the babies were going to be problematic. We don't have Togetic either, which sucks. I love Togetic. This page we're doing all right. We're missing here Meryl, of all things. Actually, no, this is a mistake. We've definitely opened Meryl, and I've just been like, I have Meryl. And then I don't even check if I have Meryl, because I'm so sure I have Meryl. No, we have Azumarill. I don't think we, oh my God, now I have to like go back through all my packs and stuff and look for Meryl. That has to be a mistake. I'm sure I've seen Meryl and just been like, surely we have Meryl, and just moved on. Oh my God. I guess I can look through the videos That's... There should be Meryl here. We should be one more ahead. Here we need Jumpluff. That makes sense, you know, third stage evolution Pokemon, they're usually rares, harder to find. This is a complete page here. We have the much beloved Espeon and Umbreon. I kind of like that one is in Japanese and one is in English. One is silver border, one is yellow border. The art styles are a nice contrast as well. Very, very happy with these being our inclusions for those two. That is our 8th complete page. Here we got some cool Pokemon too. I love Gen 2. I think it's like Gen 1, there's still a lot of like, for lack of a better word, like monster type designs where they didn't really know exactly like what they wanted to do with Pokemon, like what kind of personality they should have, what kind of merchandising potential they should have. They were working more from the perspective of like JRPG enemies, you know? So there was like a lot of Gen 1 Pokemon that are just kind of, yeah, they're just kind of like monsters. Whereas in Gen 2, I think they really kind of honed in on what makes like a Pokemon, you know? And they still had like so much room of just kind of like low-hanging fruit. Like, how about a crow Pokemon? How about a giraffe Pokemon? How about a pine cone Pokemon? You know, and yet there was still so much like creativity. Like the whole idea of Giraffaric, I think, is just brilliant. But it's like simple too. Like there was still room for simplicity at this point. Yeah, I don't know. Gen 2 is kind of a sweet spot for me. This is where Slowking goes. This is where Fortress goes. I wouldn't imagine those are going to be too hard to find, but evidently we haven't yet. This page also a little sparse, no Granbull. And here I'm like, man, I feel like I pulled Granbull, but I pulled Granbull in TCG Pocket. I think is what I'm remembering. This is where Scizor goes. And Teddy Ursa. We have Ursa Ring, but not Teddy Ursa. Funny how those things work out. And here we need Swinub. We have Pillow-Swine, but no Swinub. It's kind of crazy to me because I'm like, surely I got Swinub at some point. I'm going to drive myself crazy rewatching all of my old videos. Here's Corsola. I love Corsola. I feel sad that we haven't gotten it yet. Octillery goes here. This page is coming along pretty well. We just need Kingdra. Yeah, Kingdra we haven't got. I love the split gen evolutions. I've said it a lot before. I think it's so great when they go back to a previous generation and find a Pokemon that could kind of do with an evolution. Like Porygon 2 here is another great example. As the fact that they were doing that as soon as Gen 2, I think is so awesome. And then they've kept it up with pretty much every generation since. I think only Gen 5 doesn't have that sort of connection. This is where Stantler goes. Tyrogue, another baby. And Magby over here, another baby. But we got like Blissey. I think it's funny that I got the Pokemon Go Blissey. It's defending its gym. That's awesome. Raikou we just picked up. Meltank, another favorite. Suicune, we're still missing Entei. And then we finally got the whole Tyranitar line with this awesome Mega Tyranitar that I got from one of the packs from Rope Snake. That is just so sick nasty. This is hopefully not the last Mega we get, because I got pre-ordered some boxes of the new Mega set. But here we don't have Ho-Oh, Lugia. We don't have Celebi either. All three final Pokemon in Gen 2 have eluded us so far, which is very frustrating because I really, really like all three of those Pokemon. Ho-Oh might be my favorite legendary, period, I think. And then here we have an ongoing collection of alt forms. I do want to kind of like catalog these at some point. I've been a little lax about it, like kind of forgetting to check. Like here I put Alolan Dugtrio in twice. Very clearly forgetting to check. and I haven't organized these lately either, but that's kind of a secondary project. So yeah, that's the first binder, Gen 1 and 2. Let's take a look at how we're doing with Gen 3. Gen 3 was kind of like first out the gate, in a way. I just remember, like, right at the start, we were getting a ton of Gen 3 Pokemon, and it felt like maybe that was going to be the first generation completed. We have 110 out of, how many, how many Pokemon are in Gen 3? It's like 136. I'm double checking right now. 135. Damn, I'm pretty good. That was just a number off the dome. One away. So yeah, we're at 81% completion for this dex. The starter page is looking pretty good. Need some final stages. Got the Yukamori Torchic. Our early game Mon's looking pretty good. Who's missing here? It looks like there's an evolutionary pair, maybe, that goes in here. That should be... Oh, Wurmple. Wurmple and Silcoon. It's kind of crazy, though. We don't have Wurmple and Silcoon. Likewise, we don't have Lotad, but we do have Lombre and Ludicolo. This tells me I gotta buy more bulk. The future of all these like random ass commons, it can't just be from buying packs. The rate is too slow. The pool is too limited. I really gotta like dive into bulk, like seriously. Same with here. This is where Wingull goes. We need Gardevoir, which I think is probably just one of those like always at rare Pokemon because it's always in demand. So that might take a while, but a lot of other fun guys here. Surskit, one of my favorite designs. Awesome artwork. Very happy for that one to be in the binder. We got the full Slakoth line. We got Ninkaida and Shedinja, but not Ninjask. And we don't have Explode yet. But coming along pretty well. Only 2 missing there. Here there's some big gaps. Oh, Azurill, of course, a baby. Nosepass, it's kind of interesting. I know we have Probopass later. And Sableye, which is I canonically like an elusive Pokemon, so it doesn't surprise me that we don't have it. But we have the full Aeron line here. A lot of good progress here. We've gotten like 3 Plusles at this point, but still no Minun, which is very disappointing. But we got these little Firefly buggies. Some gaps here. Oh, Gulpin and Swalot. We don't have either of those. That's a little odd. We don't have Wailord. I love Wailord. I love Wailmer too. Look how happy he is. But Wailord would make me totally delighted. This page we're 1 away on, which is actually the best we've done for Gen 3 pages. Despite a pretty high completion rate of 80%. It's just kind of like the absences are kind of scattered all over. So here we need Cacturn, but a lot of cool ones. I really like this Vibrava art. I think that's so evocative and cool looking. And hey, a complete page. This is complete page number 9. Our first Gen 3 complete page. A lot of classic Pokemon here. The Lunatone Solrock pair. I like this very flat, minimal Lunatone. It looks kind of like vector art. This Wishcash looks sweet too. Just such a vibrant background. If this was like a full art, I'm sure this would be like a hella in-demand card. People love this kind of like style for the full arts. This page we're actually doing pretty decent despite it being the fossil page. We need... What evolves into Cradilly? Lillipeep or something? Lileep. And the evolution of Anorith, which is Armaldo. So yeah, those are going to be hard to find. The fossils are always hard to find. Which feels fitting, you know? Got to be a little paleontologist. And hey, it's another complete page. This was the complete page that I was most adamant about completing because for a long time we were only missing Kecleon and Kecleon was being printed in common and like Journey Together or something. So I was like, surely I can get some Journey Together packs, Journey and get Kecleon, and then the whole page will come together. And then I think I ended up getting this in bulk instead. It's funny how that works out. But a lot of really cool designs here. A lot of designs that I think are very emblematic of sort of the design shift from Gen 2 to Gen 3. Where Gen 2 was a lot of just like, okay, let's do our riff on, you know, whatever animal. And here it's kind of like, what is Duskull, really? Like, what is Bayonet? Bayonet is sort of like a haunted toy, I think. But like, what is Castform? It's just like the embodiment of like weather. Kecleon feels very much like a Gen 2 design, but then like Shuppet, Dusclops, this is kind of like a new evolution where they're kind of almost going back to the monster feel of Gen 1, but now with a more refined sense of what a Pokemon is. Compared to something like Nidoking that just... I love Nidoking, don't get me wrong, but like Nidoking kind of out of context like doesn't really feel like a Pokemon in some sense. I don't know if you get what I mean. Crochet Chimecho, awesome. So yeah, this was our 10th complete page. 10 complete pages, feeling good, feeling great. Here's a very cold page. All water Pokemon, a lot of ice Pokemon. We still need, what's Snorunt evolve into? Glalie. Wait a minute. Hey, what? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. How did this happen? How did this... Oh my goodness. I was like, surely we have Glalie. I remember getting Glalie. There's Glalie. What the... yeah, so here is Wynut, which, again, a baby. Hard to find. And here we should have Gorbis, the other evolution of Clamperl. Very odd looking Pokemon. All these like deep sea critters always have kind of a scary energy. All right, this page also almost complete. We got the full Bagon line and almost the full Beldum line, but no Metagross, which is such a shame because I love Metagross. One of the Pokemon I used all the time when I played Gen 3. Way back in the day, I played Gen 3 on Net Battle. That's how old I am. And had a jolly old time with my Metagross, clicking Meteor Mash over and over. Over here, we got another almost complete page, just missing Kyogre, which kind of surprises me. I feel like Kyogre is a pretty popular Pokemon, and you'd think it would have gotten reprinted at some point. But man, I love the Gen 3 legendaries. I think the Regis are sweet. Regice in particular, I think is such a cool design. The Lati twins, I think, are awesome. I remember when the Lati twins were revealed, I thought they had something to do with Togepi, because this triangle marking looks kind of like the markings on Togepi. I thought these were going to be the evolutions of Togetic. And of course, the real evolution of Togetic we get next generation. And they kind of look a little similar. They look a lot more svelte, I guess I would say. Rayquaza's a favorite of mine. Jirachi a favorite of mine. I played Jirachi in Gen 4. And those of you who know what that mean, feel free to leave me the dislike. Serene Grace, Iron Head. Bam, 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 bam. 2 for flinching. 2 for flinching. Yeah, this is an evil Pokemon. You wouldn't think it, but it does desire your doom. And the name of that doom is flinching over and over again. Deoxys, of course, also super sweet. I would love to get cards for the different Deoxys forms as well, but so far we just got the vanilla one. I think we've pulled like 3 now versions of normal Deoxys, but never Deoxys attack or speed or defense. So yeah, I'd love to get Kyogre. It would be so sweet to finish off this page. This is such like a powerful page, you know? All right, into Gen 4. And this has got to be one of the saddest pages in the binder. Like, I don't know, man. Why are these so hard to find? We're only at 69 Pokemon in Gen 4, which is... How many Pokemon are in Gen 4? Gen 4 is fairly large, too. 107 new Pokemon. So we are at 64% completion rate, which is pretty bad. And I think this really lonely starter page, where we only have 2 dudes, is pretty emblematic of this generation. Other pages are looking better, but man. And it's sad, too, because this is just, like, miraculous chance that the number of Pokemon in Gen 3 is perfectly divisible by 9. So then we get, like, the full starter page. All 3 evolutionary lines should be here. But they're not. Just the little monkeys are. Where are your friends? Anyways, getting into the rest of the gen. This page coming along okay. We just need Staraptor and Krika whatever. What's it called? Kricketune. Evolving from Kricketot. And here, man, like... Okay, we got Budew. That's great. Babymon. But yeah, this is the fossils page. So Roserade goes here. And then the 2 fossil lines, which are going to be pretty tough. And then Wormadam, which we haven't gotten. And Mothim, also haven't gotten. A lot of these kind of like early piddly bugs that you wouldn't think much about are actually really hard to find. We need Cherim here as well. The Vespiquen looks so sweet, though. I'm so happy that that was the first Vespiquen we got. Shellos and Gastrodon. I love this Gastrodon art. It is so adorable. Lots of good Pokemon here. This one is just one away, which is pretty great. We just need Honchkrow. Another split gen evolution. I think they're pretty sweet, but sometimes hard to find. And I think it's because it's like, well, if Murkrow was already, you know, maybe an uncommon or something, how could Honchkrow not be a rare? Like, it's kind of it's kind of hard to like have a new evolution and not have it be rarer than its pre-evolved form. Here we have Chingling. Hooray, hooray. We love Chingling. It's another baby. That was a really hard one to get. I think I mentioned in the video where I got it, the emergency backup Chingling that the guy at the card shop gave me after I explained my challenge. But yeah, big empty page here. No Stunky or Stuntank. And then Bonsly, Mime Jr., and Happiny at the bottom. 3 more babies that we got to track down. Very tough. This page coming along okay, but the Gibble line with Garchomp has been really hard to get, which sucks because I love those guys. And then Munchlax, another baby. The babies are kind of just scattered all over to ruin our day even more. But we do have Riolu and one of our many, many Lucarios. We just keep getting Lucario. I'm probably going to freaking pull Mega Lucario too when that set comes out. Here, Drapion should be. Carnivine. We actually don't have Finneon. We just have Lumineon, which is kind of interesting. And then another baby Mantike. This page coming along really well. And here there's a whole bunch of split gen evolutions. You know, Weavile, Magnezone, Lickalili. Our Korean Lickalili. I think this is the only Korean card in the deck so far. Rhyperior, Tangrowth, Electivire, and then Magmortar goes here. So it'd be great to finish that off. I cannot tell you how hype I was when Gen 4 started getting leaked and I saw there was so many split gen evolutions, just old Pokemon getting resurrected like this. And what's funny is that almost all of these like still suck in terms of like competitive threats or whatever. But I think the designs are sweet. Togekiss, Yanmega. We got 2 evolutions here, our complete set of evolutions coming along nicely. But we're still missing Porygon Z and Gallade. 2 more split gen evolutions. And then, hey, a complete page here. That's complete page 11. So we do have a complete page for each generation so far, at least. More split gen Mons, Rotom. The Lake Trio looking sweet. I like that they all get their little row here. Feels like the arts kind of look nice together too. Azelf and Uxie, I think, must be from the same set. And then Mess Spirit is like, nah. You guys are my backup dancers. I'm going in. Dialga, Palkia. Palkia being from episode 1, if you recall. One of the first cards put in the binder. Heatran. Great page of legendaries and other awesome Pokemon. Here, though, it gets a little spotty with kind of like the post-game legendaries and stuff. We don't have Giratina, Cresselia, Fion, Darkrai. We do have Shaman, my all-time favorite Pokemon, although I kind of like the base form more than the Sky form. But we do have Shaman. Shoutouts to my friend that gave me that as a birthday present. And we have Darkrai, but we don't have the true epic god of all Pokemon, Arceus. And I don't know where we're going to get Arceus, to be honest. I feel like they're pretty judicious with when they give you that Pokemon. Here's my little collection of extra Rotoms. And let's plunge into Gen 5. All right, let's take a look at Gen 5. It's been doing really well. Got a big shot in the arm with the release of White Flare Black Bolt. I'm honestly so tempted just to buy as much of that set as I can get my hands on so we can try to like finish Gen 5. But then I'd also kind of be sad if we finish Gen 5 before Gen 1. So I don't know. I'm at a kind of a crossroads there, but I have a really fun time opening that set. So there's definitely going to be more of that. But this is like the best first page we've had so far. We're so close. We've got Victini, the silly little spoiler that shoves normally our very logical page of starters into this off by 1 error atrocity. Look at that smug little guy. But we got some sweet Pokemon here. I love the foil treatment on the Snivy. We're just missing Serperior to finish this whole page. And we've got the famous Tepig family illustration line. And we actually do have the Pignite that fits in there. But my strict policy of keeping the very first Pokemon I get for each slot of the binder has prevented me from telling the complete story, unfortunately. Oh well. I think maybe after I finish the challenge, I'll go through and like kind of upgrade the binder with like my favorite version of all the cards we've gotten. But for now, at least, I really like it being just sort of a document of what I was able to get first, the order I was able to get stuff, you know. Anyways, yeah, really, really good stuff with the Gen 5 starters. We're only missing Servine and Samurott. But yeah, we're at 125 of the 156 Gen 5 Pokemon, which is pretty great. That is 81%, second only to Gen 1's 89%. And it's really, like, Gen 5 is just such a huge generation. If it wasn't for this set just being all Gen 5 Pokemon, it probably would have taken a long, long time. But we still have some kind of surprising gaps. Like, we don't have Watchog or the middle stage of this line, which is Herdier. We don't have Liepard. All these, like, really early game Pokemon that you think we'd just pick up randomly. Likewise, we're missing a lot of monkeys still. We don't have Simisage, the stage 2 grass one. We don't have Pansear. Did we not pull Pansear recently? Or did we? I don't know now. I think we pulled Chimchar recently, and I'm thinking of Chimchar, and I'm getting it mixed up with Pansear. The only one that we have both for is Panpour Simipour. And then here we don't have Munna. We just have Musharna. Pulled Munna in Pocket recently, but can't convert that over. And here, check it out, a full 2-page spread of Gen 5 Pokemon. That is so awesome. That's complete pages 12 and 13. This was a recent achievement as I've been buying White Flame Black Bolt. It's like being able to open 151, but without the sneaking feeling of like you've lost all your money. But yeah, really great progress here. So many fun designs in Gen 5. Gen 5 famously, they wanted a complete break from all the generations before it. You cannot find any previous generation Pokemon until after the end game. My boyfriend just got home from Lincoln Park. Good time?
Yeah.
Nice. I'm just doing we're 3/4 of the way there now. So I'm commemorating by going through all the binders.
I just got into like a confrontation outside.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wait, hold on. All right, anyways, that was an interesting story, but let's get back to the Pokemon. So they kind of tried to like recreate Gen 1, but in like a new interpretation of the same kind of like, okay, we needed like a 3-stage water Pokemon, like Poliwag, Poliwhirl, Poliwrath. But what's another twist we can put on this kind of like tadpole into frog development? Oh, we need kind of like a muscly dude, a 3-stage fighting Pokemon that's like muscly. Okay, instead of martial arts experts, what if they were like construction dudes? You know? I think a lot of Gen 5 designs, like obviously this is Geodude, Graveler, Golem. This is Zubat, Golbat. I could go on for days. This is Diglett and Dugtrio, I guess. But I really do think that was kind of like their starting point for building out Gen 5. And the result is one of the most like kind of like densely packed with ideas Pokédexes out there. So many like 3-stage evolutionary lines, so many things in different types, different animals. They kind of went back to ideas that they did in Gen 1 and never again, like the idea of like these clothed martial arts masters that we see in Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee. Just like Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee, we're also missing one. We're missing Sock. We only have Throw. But yeah, I don't know. It's fun to kind of speculate like how they twisted Gen 1 into making Gen 5. Here we're missing Swadloon, which is unfortunate because I think Swadloon is one of the cutest Pokemon they ever made. Same with Whimsicott. I love Whimsicott. Hopefully, in our remaining White Flare, Black Bolt packs, we can get some of those. Here we're missing a few Pokemon. Basculin and Petlil, actually. Another... Wait a minute. Yeah. Petlil goes here. We're still missing the middle stage of the Sandile line. But we do finally have Krookodile. I think Krookodile is so cool. This page is coming along pretty well too. Only 2 missing. But they're fossil Pokemon, of course. The turtle fossils. And Archeops, the evolution of Archen. Those are going to be tough. They are in White Flare, Black Bolt, but I think they're all quite rare. Like, I think they're uncommons and rares, maybe. Just because they are technically Stage 2 Pokemon. It's very strange. Here we still need Garbodor. But otherwise, this page can kind of empty. There's a lot we still need to cover. Here are the Chinchilla Pokemon. Minchio and Cinchio. But a lot of other progress. Like, we got the full Gothita line. We just need Ranunculus here, and then we've finished this page. This is a very all over the place page. We've got these like strange goth Lolita Harajuku fashion things. We've got these blobs that represent like the division of cells, I think. We've got adorable clay duck. And then ice cream. After all that, hooray, it's ice cream time. We still need Vanillux, Saucebuck, and... Oh, Frillish and Jellicent. I don't think we have either... Oh, no, we do have Jellicent, but yeah. There's our full art Joltik. Very cool. We need Alola Mola here. And Ferrothorn. But we have the full Clink line. So this page coming along pretty good too. And here's another one-awayer. The only one we're missing here is Axew, which is very frustrating because we have the rest of the Axew line. Hey, wait a minute. Oh, no. Oh, I fucked up. We made another counting error.
Yeah.
609 blank 611. So this should be 610, and this guy should be here, which means this guy should be here, this guy should be here, this guy should be here, this guy should be here. Oh my god, okay. I'll deal with that after. This is another good reason to make these videos. Because I was like, yeah, Axew is the only one missing on this page. And what's crazy is that Axew is also the only one missing on this page. Dang, I really need to get Axew. Ah, my God. I'm trying to be so vigilant. How does this keep happening? Okay, whatever. We'll deal with that later. Actually, that means once I sort this out, this will be a complete page. Because this will go here, and then it's done. So that's kind of a complete page. But I'll worry about that later. But yeah, lots of progress here. We're just missing the big bird. What's that guy called? Braviary. And then check this out. I don't know if this will remain a 2-page spread once I've finished reorganizing the entire back half of this binder. But for now, it is a 2-page spread. Oh my goodness, look at that. A legendary page as well. We've got the pseudo line here. These kind of pseudo legendaries. And then both legendary trios and the box art legendaries and the like trio master dude. That's awesome. That's great progress. And without even like needing to buy a whole bunch of the Gen 5 set, I think most of these were from gift packs because my friend that donated his collection bought a lot of Gen 5 cards. Very nice. And we have Keldeo and Meloetta. We just need Genesect. So we're actually doing really well on the Gen 5 legendaries and mythics. Okay, Generation 6. Big drop off in completion rate. We've only got 56 of the Pokemon, which is 77%. It's not the worst, but it's not the best either. A Gen 6 and 7, I think, are going to be the hardest. Just because they kind of fall into a spot where they're still too new to have, like, nostalgia printings. But they're old enough that I'm not going to find them trivially, like, in bulk or in new packs or whatever. So I think that's going to be a tough time. Look at this sweet Bunnelby art, though. I probably pointed that out in my last Pokédex video, but damn, I love that so much. But yeah, lots of gaps here. The evolutionary lines for the starters are actually coming together pretty nicely, but none of them are complete yet. Here we need... What the? Oh, Scatterbug. We have the rest of the line. So maybe that will become a complete page or something. I don't know. Ah, that bugs me so much. Accounting error. Here we need Gogoat. I love Gogoat. Here we need... What's this guy evolve into? Meowstic. But we got the full Aegislash line. Looks pretty sweet. Got Pangoro. This is some badass art right here. We need Spritzy. I think we do have Aromatisse. Here's a full page. That will probably cease to be a full page after I rearrange stuff. But we just picked up this guy. Dragalge. Dragon Algae. I think these are really cool designs. This is like kind of the era where they started riffing off of more obscure animals, I guess I would say. There is a type of seahorse that camouflages with algae and just really looks like long drifting seaweed or whatever. It has like the ruffles and stuff of it. And these are Pokemon kind of riffing on that design, even though that's not like an ABC book animal. I think there's quite a lot of examples of that in Gen 6. Like right here, this is a mantis shrimp. Or not a mantis shrimp, sorry, a pistol shrimp. Clauncher is based on a pistol shrimp. It's kind of like an animal that like animal nerds like to talk about because it's got like cool stats as an animal. But again, it's not like something a baby would know about or whatever. Here we're missing some Fossilmons, unsurprisingly. We got Sylveon, the final evolution, awesome. This page is coming along pretty well. We just need Goodra. I love Goodra. I don't know when we're going to get Goodra, but I love it. And here we need Bergmite. We already have Avalugg. But as I said, it's like we're not really getting the influx of bulk for Gen 6 and onward up until like Gen 8 where it starts to get easier again. So a lot of these like random kind of common ass Pokemon, I'm not really sure how we're going to get it. But we are doing well on the legendaries. We got Xerneas, Yveltal, and Zygarde. We're missing a couple of the mythics here. Hoopa and Diancie. But we do have Volcanion, which I think is one of the most forgotten mythics. Unfortunately, the long-awaited fire-water Pokemon did not make the lasting impact, I think, that a lot of people assumed that it would. Getting into Gen 7, this is by far our worst completion rate. We only have 51 Gen 7 Pokemon, which is 57% of the generation. And Gen 7 is going to be really tough because the Sun and Moon run of sets had the team-up cards. And people are going nuts for the team-up cards. They are spending oodles and oodles of money to chase after the team-up cards. And it makes all of the old packs of of Sun and Moon outrageously expensive. So I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm sure somewhere, at least the common cards or stuff are circulating in bulk. But a lot of the like kind of rare Pokemon in Gen 7, like the final stage of evolutionary lines and stuff, they haven't really been reprinted since Gen 7. Like I said, they're not old enough to get the nostalgia printings. And I can't really in good conscience buy those packs. So I don't know. This is what I've been thinking internally of as the Gen 7 crisis. Right here it doesn't look so bad. Like we've covered the early game Mons pretty well. There's Gumshoos. Love Gumshoos. Everybody says, oh, is Gumshoos kind of riffing on Donald Trump? And you're blind if you don't see it. You don't see what they're talking about. But it's not. It's meant to be like a hard-boiled detective. I think it's riffing more on like a Japanese archetype of detective shows and stuff. But yeah, like this page looks great. We're only one away. We're just missing Crabrawler, which I don't think will be too hard to find because Crabominable and Crabrawler were reprinted pretty recently. Got Rockruff, Lycanroc, you know. Here we're missing... Oh, Mariani and Toxapex. We don't have either of those. But again, an almost full page. It's looking good. It starts good. This page looking pretty good too. We just need... what does Morlul evolve into? Shiinotic. And down here we need... Ciarna, the final stage of this line. This page is looking good too. We've got the funny monkeys. Love these guys. We've got the creepy bugs. We've got the Sandcastle Mons. This is like some of my favorite kind of modern Pokemon design. It feels so classic. And I think it's so clever, the idea that it's like a ghost type because it's come to life. But here we're missing Type Null and Sylvanny, which I think are going to be like really hard to find. And then here's where it starts dwindling. There's quite a few we need on this page. Finally got Mimikyu. That one was surprisingly tough. I love Mimikyu. But this is where it gets really rough. Okay, so like the pseudo-evolutionary line, or the pseudo-legendary line, the Jagmu line, no sight of them. Haven't seen a scale from those guys. The Tapus, we're tapping out. We only got one. 3 more. I have no idea where they've ever been reprinted that we can get our hands on them. Cosmog and Cosmium, sure. But then this whole freaking blank page. Oh my lord. And this is where we get into like the Solio and Lunala. Basically never reprinted. I'd have to buy like Celebrations packs, I think, to try to get those. And then all of the Ultra Beasts. I have no idea what to do. We have not seen a single Ultra Beast. And I think that's right now like the biggest obstacle to finishing this challenge. So I really don't know what to do. I can't buy Sun and Moon packs. Maybe if I win the lottery, I can buy Sun and Moon packs. And that will be our attempt. And I don't really know what bulk I can buy that's going to have like... Because they're all like printed at rare. And some of them are only printed in like EX. So I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. But I think we're just going to keep trying to struggle along and finish other parts. And then when this is like the only thing left, we'll have to come up with a solution. And maybe by then they'll have a new set that brings back the Ultra Beasts. I think that's like my biggest hope right now. And then we got Melmetal. But man, yeah. Seeing this totally empty page and then this mostly empty page, that makes me feel bleak. So yeah, that's the Gen 7 conundrum. Gen 8 and 9, though, going better, as you'll see in a second. And finally, let's look at binder number 4, containing generations 8 and 9, and honestly, probably 10, unless they go insane and add like 300 Pokemon. I think we can fit it in here, too. Like I said, Gen 6 and 7, I think, are going to be the hardest, because we can still actually get Sword and Shield era packs and go back and get Gen 8 Pokemon that way. In fact, here's a little celebration preview. Oh, baby. Look at that. That's stuffed full of Sword and Shield Pokemon. So, yeah, hopefully Gen 8 will come along a little more smoothly. Right now, it's not doing great. I think just because I've been more focused on, like, Gen 5, Gen 1. Gen 8 is at 61% completion. We have 59 Gen 1 Gen 8 Pokemon. But it's a pretty small generation, so I think once we start cracking into Sword and Shield era stuff more consistently, it'll come along. It'll come along. And the starters page is actually looking pretty good. I like that it makes this triangle here. Just missing a couple there. Only missing one Pokemon here, the legendary Orbeetle. I really like the Orbeetle design. I love the Deoxys full art where it's getting beamed up by Orbeetle. Or I guess beamed down, I don't know. Love this Greedent art. He's so cool. That's my guy. I just like the evolution of like Skwovet, you know, it's pretty lithe, but its cheeks are stuffed full all the time. And then Greedent is just fat. That's great. That makes me happy. This page coming along pretty well as well. Chewtle, I think one of the oddest designs in modern Pokemon. Here we're just missing... Oh yeah, Yamper and Boltund. It's bugging me that we haven't gotten these little dogs, because they actually have been reprinted in a lot of the sets that we've been opening. We just haven't gotten them. Here we're missing the rest of the Colossal line, which you'd think would be easier to get than the final stage, but is proving difficult. We have the full Apple Split evolution. I think we have the bonus ones too. I think we have Dipplin and Hydrapple now too, so that's great. The Split Gen evolution. Here we need the evolution of Toxel. Toxtricity. I really like that design. Here we need Grapploct. Intimidating Pokemon. There's a lot of Gen 7 Pokemon I really enjoy. Gen 7 seemed like the first time they really tried to focus on designing Pokemon to match the environment. And it's not like totally consistent. Or sorry, I keep saying Gen 7, Gen 8. I think Gen 7 and Gen 8, though, they kind of started leaning in this a little more, like, is the Ingerland set, you know? So you have these kind of, like, impish creatures that feel like they emerge from some bog in the British Isle. You have Berserker that feels like an old warrior of yore, a berserker, or, as implied by the name. And Sirfetch'd, of course, is kind of riffing on what if Farfetch'd was a knight with a sword and shield, Runerigus, of course, like riffing on Stonehenge. There's the even more explicitly Stonehenge Pokemon later. These kind of seem like British pastries. Again, it's not every single Pokemon, but it's a lot of them. And I think that was a definite kind of focus that they've been leading into more and more. Like Scarlet and Violet, I think, are kind of similar. But yeah, quite a few gaps here. I really hope that we can start getting these once we start cracking into more Sword and Shield packs. Cursola is on this page. I think Cursola is an amazing design. Same with Mr. Rhyme. They're quite kind of grotesque in their own way is maybe the word I'd use, but really compelling to me. Stonjourner goes over here, as I mentioned, the very or maybe Stonjourner is a little earlier, but yeah, the very much Stonehenge inspired Pokemon. And yeah, the weird mix-up fossil Pokemon go here as well, which I think is a little bit of a dig at the British Museum that famously couldn't figure out that the platypus wasn't a prank and tried to dissect the taxidermied platypus because they thought somebody had just stitched together different animal parts as a joke. And there's also been incidents where, yeah, they put together the dinosaur wrong. In the very, very early days of paleontology, they famously thought the spiked claw of the iguanodon was a horn, like that goes on its nose, like a rhino. So I think those fossil Pokemon, which of course I don't have, so I'm I'm referring, of course, to these guys: Dracovich, Arcovolt, Dracozolt. It's a very fun concept, the mixing and matching of parts, even though the designs are polarizing, I guess I'd say. So those would be great pickups. I think those have only been printed a couple times each. Here we're missing Zacian. We just recently got Zamazenta, but Zacian is in that box I showed you earlier, so that's kind of a guaranteed one. We're missing Eternatus, and then Gen 8, of course, the first generation to have DLC Pokemon, which is kind of controversial, I think. The idea of Pokemon not debuting really in a new game, but instead debuting in kind of like a 0.5 generation, I think you can make some complaints about. Here, there's like DLC Pokemon like Kubfu and Urshifu go in here. And then there's also the Legends Arceus original Pokemon, Ursaluna, Kleavor, Basculegion. And we have none of those. This is another distressingly blank page. And it makes sense because, like, when a new generation starts, there's kind of like the base set, which contains cards for a lot of the new Pokemon in that generation. But there was no base set for Legends Arceus. There was no base set for the DLC. So it's kind of like, well, where is sort of the reliable spot to put first editions for all these Pokemon, like the first printing of a card for them? And then given that that's already sort of slapdash, the prospect of them getting follow-up reprints is also kind of hit or miss. And I guess we always miss, because we ain't got any of them. So this is a little distressing too. I'm not as worried about it as I am the Ultra Beasts. I think if we kind of like focus down on them, it's a little easier to find them. Because as I said, a lot of Sword and Shield packs are still semi-accessible at least. So we can kind of start hunting them down individually if we need to. Versus the Ultra Beast, where it's like, I really just have no idea what product I could pay a reasonable amount of money for that would actually contain them. So yeah, here we have Zarude holding down the fort of this entire page. And the rest of this is blank until we get into Gen 9. And Gen 9 is actually going really well. Of course, that's the majority of sets you can buy today are Scarlet Violet sets. Here we've got the full Sprigatito line. And actually, I didn't realize this. We've got the full 9 starter spread. That's the first time we've done that. That's awesome. That's a pretty huge achievement. I didn't even really notice until now. That's so great. And here we're only missing Oinkologne, the evolution of Lechonk, and we've finished a page. This page coming along very well as well. The evolution of Taruntula goes here and goes after Mousehold. Fido. I'm surprised we don't have Fido yet. That seems like it should be pretty common. Yeah, a lot of Gen 9 Pokemon designs I really like. A lot of fun 3-stage evolution lines. The Small of Art is so adorable. So I think we'll be able to make good progress on Gen 9. We're 74% of the way there, which is one of the better rates. And like I said, because Gen 10 isn't coming along anytime soon either, I think we'll have plenty of chances still to pull Gen 9 Pokemon. This page not doing as hot, but I feel confident. This is, does this Pokemon have an evolution? This Tumbleweed type Pokemon, whose name eludes me. Oh yes, it does, Bramblegast. And we need the evolution of the Pepper Pokemon too. Here is one of my favorite arts in this entire game. I don't know why. It just, it's so funny. It's just like such an odd angle, such an odd choice. It's not like really that exciting, you know? This Rabscara art, in contrast, I think is a lot cooler. But this is so unique. We need the rest of the Tinkatink line. We need Wugtrio. So lots of gaps, but here, check it out. Our first full page in a while. We had no full pages for Gen 7 or 8, but we just finished this one recently, getting Grievard. So that's awesome. Lots of crazy-ass designs here, like the engine Pokemon and the motorcycle Pokemon. This page coming along all right, too. We got our full art set Titan. Annihilate, another cross-gen evolution. And then we get into the Paradox Pokemon, where I've been doing pretty well. Oh, and Faragirif. I love Faragirif. But the Paradox section is actually coming along pretty nicely. And I feel like I really lucked out, because if I had done this challenge later, I think the Paradox Pokemon are going to end up like the Ultra Beasts, where I don't know if they're going to get reprinted that often because they have the mechanical baggage of like the ancient and future typing, this little bonus aspect, and cards that refer to that and say put 2 energy on a future Pokemon or whatever. I think they're going to be hesitant to reprint them in part because they kind of need a critical mass of them to like work archetypally. And that's the problem with the Ultra Beast too, is that the Ultra Beast had such unique rules baggage that they're just not going to get reprinted. So I think I got to really seize the day and try to get all the Paradox Pokemon. Here we're just missing Iron Thorns. Have we really not got Iron Thorns? This game has got me always I'm always doubting myself. I'm like, surely I saw Iron Thorns. I'm going to have to compulsively go back through and make sure there's not Pokemon that I actually have copies of that I neglected to note were new and neglected to put in the binder. Here we got the full Pseudo line, which is great. This page is almost complete as well. We're just missing one of the 4 ancient treasures. I got so excited when my boyfriend opened Wo-Chen because I thought Wo-Chen was the one we were missing. Just kidding. We are missing, in fact, Ting-Lu. How did I mix up Wo-Chen and Ting-Lu? That's embarrassing.
Stupid.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid. I just thought these were such strange designs, the 4 treasures. I know it's like Chinese mythology or whatever that they're kind of sticking to and riffing on, but I think as Pokemon, like the naming and the designs are like very, I don't know, unconventional. But yeah, more Paradox Pokemon here. We got Koraidon and Miraidon. Missing a couple of the DLC mons, but again, just like timing wise, I was able to get a ton of these DLC mons. A lot of them from Waterflame sending me all of their bulk from trying to chase down Ogerpon. So that was a big help. I think that's how pretty much this entire page got filled out. And there is Ogerpon itself, an adorable little guy. And this is the final page. This is going up to 1025. There's 1024 right there. I would love to get Pecharunt and have Bulbasaur and Pecharunt, you know, bookending the whole thing. But I think there's only been one printing of Pecharunt so far, so that's going to be a little tough. Yeah, so I don't know. We're 3/4 of the way there. It's pretty amazing. I genuinely, you know, starting this out thinking, okay, I'm only going to buy... Like, the plan was really just to buy bulk and maybe buy a pack or two here and there. And obviously I have succumbed to something terrible and now the ratios have flipped. But I really just kind of wanted to know, like, how far can you get in this challenge? Just buying cards incidentally, not buying singles. And the answer is quite far. But now I really do feel like we're facing walls. The Ultra Beast wall is very scary. The Gen 8 DLC wall, very scary. Random old fossils and babies, very scary. But we're going to just keep doing our best. I don't know. I think until the day comes where I get like 3 episodes in a row where I'm opening like 100 packs of bulk and getting no new Pokemon, that's when we'll start talking about changing strategies. What those new strategies will be, I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So thank you so much for joining me on this journey so far. And stick with it. We're going to do it. We're going to catch them all in card form. See ya.